I think we're there. Hello, everybody. Well, we've survived another 24 hours. It's now Saturday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And there's our latest information 640 miles south-southeast of San Diego. Wind speed's now 110 miles an hour, category 2. She's creeping up in her speed a little bit, now 17 miles per hour in her movement up towards California. Oh, man, I've got a lot of information to give you here, but I was going to start out with something a little light. I'm going to borrow this from Alex the Historian. We don't have to worry about that. We don't even have to worry about a lot of things we were worried about. So, early this morning, the storm has made a more easterly trek. And right now, she is going to make landfall south of the border in Mexico, crossing the border into California sometime early morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And she'll be at least, let's see, it's got to be at least 30, 40 miles east of San Diego proper. So from there, she'll make like almost a straight north trek up. In fact, basically heading up, I think that's the San Jacinto Valley, up towards Palm Springs. And the thing that's going to be the saving grace for Long Beach, even for San Diego, to some degree, is the fact that the storm's center will now be east of the San Jacinto mountain range. And the San Jacinto mountain range is going to block a lot of the energy from making its rotation to the west. It will concentrate more against the mountainside and keep it on the east side of the mountains. That won't be so good for Palm Springs, so we're going to have to see how Palm Springs fares out tomorrow. It could be very bad for Palm Springs, but not to say that there can't be intermittent extreme rainfall in Long Beach, and they're still possibly expecting about a 1 foot storm surge, which that doesn't sound like much, but 1 foot along the beaches can be a problem. And there's always still the possibility of wind gusts, although it's probably a little less now because it's a little more east than originally expected. But I'm not as worried. I'm not as worried about the situation with the Queen Mary now as I was 24 hours ago, unless something dramatically changes that is not seen right now. The storm should not make too much of a change in her trajectory. So we'll know a lot more by morning. Should also, by the time I wake up, it should already be making landfall, or really close to making landfall. Yeah, that's it for now. Let's see who's here. What we got on there? Mike, Rena, Max was on here earlier. Okay. I don't know. That's a good question. Well, we'll see if they continue to show up. Let's see. I was going to show you. Here's the different what they call the spaghetti model of all the different tracks that the storm may take. They're all basically going in the same direction now. We're all still in a tropical storm warning. Well, Las Vegas is not in a tropical storm warning, but Las Vegas is in a flood watch right now. We've been off and on. It's been off and on rain today. Nothing crazy or heavy, but we're supposed to get our significant rainfall tomorrow. Let's see here. What was the other thing I had to show you? Oh, well, we can actually go to this. Let's go to the map. When all else fails, let's go to the map. So this light area here with the Salton Sea, this is the valley that they're expecting the storm to pass through in a northerly direction. And this dark area here, that's the San Jacinto mountain range, which is going to be the major energy block of the storm's rotation, making it to all of these western shoreline areas. You've got San Diego, Del Mar, Carlsbad, Oceanside, San Clemente, Laguna Beach, and you can see that mountain range continues to follow along the coastline there. And you can see Long Beach is right there. And once it passes through there, then the San Bernardino Mountains are actually going to be giving it a little bit of a block as well. And that's that dark range up here to the north. But they're expecting to actually pass right through, in through the desert. It's supposed to pass east of Barstow. Basically, there's Interstate 15 that continues up to Las Vegas. And it's supposed to... They're even thinking about closing I-15 if it gets too bad. Hi, Ship Geek. Yeah, I've seen you on before. And yes, the Queen Mary is going to be hit by a storm, but not as bad as what we were originally thinking it was going to be. Let's see here. On the Queen Mary's operating situation, I placed numerous phone calls, did not get a hold of the general manager that I wanted to get a hold of today. I spoke with somebody at the hotel. The ship will be continuing to be open for the hotel guests tomorrow, including the Chelsea restaurant and the Midships Marketplace, which is they serve Starbucks coffee and snacks and stuff on prom deck. Those are going to remain open for hotel guests. However, the tours and attractions tomorrow will be closed. So the ship for regular tourists will be closed tomorrow. I have a feeling that's going to include Monday. Because Monday is not going to be that great of a day. What it might affect ShipGeek is the amount of rain that would be coming down all at one time. The ship has had a really bad problem with drainage on the upper decks. And on top of that, the decks themselves are not in that great of shape. So you already have a leaking issue in some areas. And then if you have an issue with drainage, you've got water that starts to back up on the deck, and it finds somewhere to go, and it's usually inside the ship. And the last time that happened was in 2017, and it basically destroyed the interior of the Sir Winston's restaurant, and they had to keep it closed for about a year while they renovated it for the damages. I had about a dozen different clips I was going to show you, and I lost all my tabs. Okay. This guy is driving through Pahrump. He's going to check out how the storm is going to be in Pahrump, which is going to be in the line of fire of the center of the storm, but not until Monday. Pahrump's maybe about 100 miles northwest of here. Yep, no, I lost all my tabs. That figures. Which one was this one? No, that's that one. I can close that one. There we go. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, Mike, I think I'm going to probably do the same thing. Well, I don't watch the Weather Channel usually. I kind of skip around because they start to get a little monotonous after a while. So I'll go to either Fox Weather or AccuWeather. I just kind of just switch around. Oh, we get more than one, but we don't get them in California. The things that has been rather irritating is the fact that the locals are not taking it as seriously as they should be because they're not used to it. They're not taking any kind of precautions. They don't. Well, one, they think it won't happen, and two, they have no clue as to the severity of what could happen. And the people who live here now that used to live in hurricane-prone areas, you know, in their past, are a little puzzled because they're wondering, well, yeah, it's a Category 1, but you still do take some precautions. But nobody cared. I mean, they were doing a lot of interviews last night, talking to people out drinking and at restaurants and stuff, and I'd ask them, "So have you done anything to prepare for Hillary?" And their usual response was, "Hillary who?" So, now I wish I had these videos for you to show. You don't get typhoons? I thought typhoons occasionally reach South Africa. I might be wrong. No. Okay. Well, that must be one of those areas of the globe that just because of either the jet stream or the way the currents are, that it just doesn't happen there. It's kind of like how California is. Well, that's true. In fact, most of our hurricanes that we get off the Atlantic are from Africa. Either that or they build out in the Atlantic, but a lot of them they form on the continent of Africa and then move across. I have a feeling I know who Techno Audio Junkie is. But this thing isn't white with pretty little curtains and looks like a big Tylenol. That's an airplane movie reference if anybody didn't realize that. No, this is the part that I really hate is the hurry up and wait, because there really isn't anything you can do now except just wait for it to happen. I was contemplating myself of even driving down tomorrow, uh, but since the Queen Mary is going to be closed tomorrow, I'll skip it. But I might drive down Monday. We're gonna see. Oh yeah. Hi, Matt. I know that's Matt. Anyway, well, I am probably still going to do a live stream tomorrow, and I'm hoping that I've got a couple people that might be able to give a report of how things are at the ship tomorrow. So I will uh, I will probably do it again at 4 o'clock, same time as today and in the last few days. However, I might try and do it earlier tomorrow. I might try and do it maybe at 12 or at 2. I'll probably post it either tonight or tomorrow morning for the time. Leaking, not flooding. Not flooding like as in she might, sink flooding. No. I had a great question. I had a great question yesterday. Could they list? Oh, Squid Games. Thank you, because I remember. Yeah, somebody did ask that question, and I didn't get to answer it. So yes and no, and I don't know. Yes, the ability to empty or fill her ballast tanks, which were originally her fuel tanks, her side fuel tanks, can be done, and that is exactly how her trim has been set in all of her years at Long Beach. There was a more easy way to do it in the 70s. That system was decommissioned. In the 90s, it was just run a bunch of hoses out to drain it over the side through a porthole or through whatever they could do. Because they've had in the past to evacuate a tank. There's usually an access hatch to get into the tank, and those hatches have a gasket on it. Well, the gasket over time can go bad, and so they've had situations where the hatch was leaking out into the boiler room, and so they had to drain the tank and then pull the hatch off and then replace the gasket on the hatch. So that can be done. It's not easy to do, but it can be done. The new emergency bilge pump system is supposed to have the option of using it for ballast transfer. I don't know if that was kept into the plans and is part of what is being set up now, or if it's been finished yet to where they can do that. I don't know what the status is of the bilge pump system. So that's the I don't know part. I hope that they've kept with those plans of being able to use the bilge pumps for ballast transfer, but I don't know yet, and I don't know if they've reached that point, if they're completed that far. So I will see if I can find out. Well, that's a lot. Yeah, Matt. The submarine has a better chance of sinking than the Queen Mary does. And I don't even think it needs to be raining. Mike, you drank it too fast. And plus, you only bought two. Now, why did you only buy two? You should have bought more. Even if they were 25-ounce cans. You know you're going to need more. Shipgeek, the submarine is still a matter of question because the city was involved in a lawsuit with who is supposed to be the current owners of the sub, and are trying to hold them responsible for the removal of the sub. I don't know where they stand on that. Kilo 4 Romeo November Alpha is here. Matt, her scuppers are not only clogged in a lot of areas, they in some cases the scupper drains don't even exist anymore because they disintegrated, and they've had to either block them up topside or reroute them. In a lot of cases, they just simply filled them up with something along prom deck and sun deck and stuff, and then just didn't allow it to drain. Her scupper, the whole draining of the scuppers is just a joke now. It's basically worthless. Well, it would be a nuisance. You couldn't just have something like that laying at the bottom of the lagoon. Tyler wants to know, just a quick question, is the hurricane going to hit Rancho Cucamonga? Um, Actually, the center of the storm is going to be closer to Rancho Cucamonga than it will be Long Beach. Um, in fact, they've been warning San Bernardino County to be extra prepared right now because San Bernardino County is going to get more of it than they were expecting. But it's not something that you would necessarily need to worry too much about. I would just hope that she would probably stay home for the day tomorrow. It's not a day to be going out. Yeah, Ship Geek. They would have to get rid of it. It's going to be rid of at some point. The question is, who's going to pay for it? The city would prefer not to pay for it. As a taxpayer would prefer not for the city to pay for it. It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to somebody else. They should be responsible for the cost of removing that thing. It's a good idea, Tyler. I would definitely let her know. She probably is already aware, but it doesn't hurt to double check. I kind of read your question a little bit wrong, and I see what you were. It The outer hull is in really bad shape on that submarine. The inner hull, the main hull, is apparently not in that bad of condition. So I don't think she's going to come out of there in one piece, though. Not because she's going to break apart. I think they're going to have to remove her in sections. Yeah, maybe they could try to raise her. I mean, to pull her out all at once, but it's the cost of removing the rock jetty. That cost a lot of money when they took it all out to bring that submarine in. And there should have been something arranged to make sure that that was already paid for to be done again at some point. Otherwise, sure, I don't see any reason why you couldn't just do that. But they'd still have to do an abatement of any toxic material, because I'm sure there still is. Hi, Ozzy. Weather is cool, like mid 70s now, and we've been having rain off and on all day. Squid Games, you're asking if the rusty sub could possibly speed up corrosion on the ship's bow, as in the Queen Mary's bow? If that's how I'm reading your question right, no. If they were, rubbing up against each other uh, and dry next to each other, yeah, but there would have to be some continuous physical form of contact. It's not like a transmitting disease that can spread through the water. Well, Ship Geek, you live in the southern hemisphere. We're in our summer already. We get our summer for another month. Well, Yeah, almost another month. Yeah, I was actually surprised that it doesn't seem to be too bad along the Mexican coastline. The storm seems to be far enough out that it's not having much of an effect. Matthew is asking if the submarine sank, would it damage the Queen Mary? Well, that would all depend upon how it sank, and more than likely, no. My only worry would be if it fouled up something, fouled up her clearance uh, at the very bottom of the ship's of the Queen Mary's bow, to where if at low tide she came down and was near the bottom of the lagoon, that it would get stuck underneath her and then prevent her from actually being able to properly rise and fall with the tide. That could be an issue. I I think that 5 million might be in the ballpark. It cost in 1998. It cost them. I think it was like 1.2, 1.5 million dollars to replace, or to go out there, remove all the rocks off the bow of the ship. On the rock jetty. They didn't have to remove it down to the bottom of the sediment. All they had to do is just go down low enough to where the submarine could be floated in, and so they removed all those rocks, floated the submarine in, and then had to put the rocks back. 1.2 to 1.5 million, and that was almost 30 years ago. So I can only imagine it's a little more than that now. Yeah, you might be right. Squid Games, that could always possibly be. Yeah. Matt is asking, those two lifeboats that are still aboard, are they capable of being lowered to the water, or have the lines been cut? All the lines were cut. All of when they removed the catwalk that ran along the top belt of the davits, that also housed the winches for the lifeboats. That was all taken out, and the cables were just simply um, strapped to something and then welded into place to kind of keep the lifeboat uh, in the position in the davit. The only one that wasn't was lifeboat 23. So no, like, not easily. No. Whoa. Who's Matt? Yeah, who's Matt? Let's see here. Well, Moonzer was here earlier, but you know, Moonzer is squirrel, and I think he went into squirrel mode and probably had to go somewhere. So that's Moonzer. Okay, let's see here. Before. Well, there's Moonzer. Weren't you here in the beginning, though? Okay, I'm going to see if I can find. There was one video that I wanted to show, and I might end with that um, for the evening. I'm 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 just really happy by the fact. Well, I mean, I don't know if happy is the right word, but I'm glad to hear that the storm is not going in the original path that we were looking at 2 days ago. It was a whole different, it'd be a whole different ball game if it had. And now that it's not, we can breathe a little easier. So I'm kind of like I'm caught at a point where, well, it's still a concerning issue, but it's not as a concerning issue. Um, but we're still going to maintain it. I'll still do another live stream tomorrow, and then I will definitely do a report of any damage that has taken place on the ship. Let's go find out here. Oh, yeah, we have had some flash flooding and a highway closure down near the border. That wasn't the video I was going to show, but I could go ahead and show that really quick. Looks like they've been talking about it. Matthew wants to know, what about the lifeboats that are still on board the ship? Will they get damaged? I don't think there's much more that could be done to them. They're both gutted on the inside, for one. And two, they will drain a lot better than they used to. I guess there's always a possibility of a wind event that could do something about their, could be a threat. But I mean, at this point, I really don't think it's much to worry about. Okay, let's see. Let's play this really quick.
Tracking the latest there of Hurricane Hilary. We appreciate everyone joining us this Saturday evening. I am your host, Mike Page, as we continue to roll on right here. Want to show you, just moments ago, National Hurricane Center putting out their last update for the day. We want to bring that to you right here on Live Now from Fox.
We've already had some flooding issues to develop today in Southern California well in advance of Hilary's approach. This is just a signal of what's to come as the main core of tropical moisture moves up into the area tomorrow. So let's switch over to the forecast graphics, the cone and the watch warning. So Hilary right now, down here just west of the southern tip of Baja Peninsula, maximum sustained winds are now down to 110 miles per hour, category 2 on the Saffir-Simpson scale, and moving north-northwest at 17 miles per hour. This is faster than the previous advisory. Again, this acceleration that we've been talking about that is going to allow Hilary to hang on to its intensity and move into the southwest of the United States. It'll slowly weaken through the rest of the day and overnight, passing right here close to the western, either passing right along or over the western side of the Baja Peninsula overnight, dropping down to a category 1 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. And then tomorrow around lunchtime, dropping below hurricane strength sometime tomorrow during the day before moving into the southwestern United States. So we do not anticipate a hurricane moving into Southern California, but we do anticipate a tropical storm. And that's why on this map you see this blue area here. A tropical storm warning is in effect for the area in blue, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see where you're at. Get some cities so you can see that covers LA, San Diego, and Palm Springs. So this is going to be this tropical gust, especially at these higher elevations, is going to move into the area. And these winds will probably start moving into the area during the day tomorrow. So this is faster than we talked about before. So if you were thinking that tomorrow you could prepare, I think that window has closed, and we have to use what's left of today to finish preparation. So that's your first take-home action from this briefing, is you need to be fully prepared by sundown today. That's only a few hours left. So if you haven't prepared, take this next few hours of sunlight and daylight to prepare for this upcoming threat. Now, the biggest threat from Hilary is going to be the really heavy rainfall. So we've talked about this. This hasn't changed. The forecast hasn't changed, and this weakening trend that you see in the intensity does not change this threat at all. So if we zoom in here and look at some of these rainfall amounts, let me get the legend back on the map here. Just a wide area of 2 to 4 inches over Southern California, and then extending up into southern and central Nevada, covering Las Vegas. These yellow areas here, 4 to 6 inches of rain. Now, if you're not familiar, this is a lot of rain for this area, a lot of rain. And remember, this rain is going to come down faster or harder or quicker than what you're used to seeing in your typical wintertime rainstorm. So that's why we have, this is the flood risk map. So this is the chance of significant flooding. And if you've been following this week, you remember this red area has expanded substantially. It now covers all of Los Angeles. It previously only covered a portion of Los Angeles. And look how far up into Nevada extends, covering Las Vegas. And then the high risk, and I'm going to tell you from experience, these high risk are not often. We don't issue these many times, and the majority of the flood-related deaths occur in these high-risk situations. So if you're in this purple area, specifically the Palm Springs area, you really, really need to take this seriously. If you're within this red area here, tomorrow is not going to be a good day to be driving around. So what I recommend, your second take-home message, if you're in this area here, is get what you need to be comfortable. Groceries, supplies, whatever you need to be comfortable for the next day or so, and then stay put. Just don't be driving in this area. Many roads are going to be preemptively or already been shut down, and once the heavy rains start occurring, they will be very, very dangerous and impassable. So just don't be driving around tomorrow. Let's just stay home and be safe. I want to point out, because you're going to see a lot of flood warnings tomorrow. Right now, this entire yellow area is a flood watch, which means conditions for flooding are possible. Look how far up into the Intermountain West it extends through Idaho, portions of Oregon, even touching southeast Washington. Almost all all of the Intermountain West here touched by it. But what's most important is you've seen some red areas starting to pop up here. These are warnings. So if you don't know the difference between a watch and a warning, we can go through. A watch means conditions are possible, where a warning means conditions are happening. So for example, a flash flood warning means flash flooding impacts are occurring or imminent. Now, why is that important? Because you're going to see this area start to fill in with warnings as the day sun comes up tomorrow and through the day tomorrow. Some of you have these alerts on your phone. You're going to see these come in on your phone. You need to know that a warning means it's imminent or occurring. Now, if you've turned off those emergency alerts on your phone, turn them back on, because things are going to get really dangerous in this area tomorrow, and you want to have the latest information. Minutes and seconds matter when it comes to flooding, flash flooding, especially flash.
I'll pause it here really quick. I wanted to comment on Karna's comment about the tolls. In the every time I've driven down to Mexico and driven on the toll roads, I swear it seems like you drive like only a few miles, and then you're up to another toll, and then you pay it, and then you drive for a little bit, and then you come back to it. But it definitely beats driving on the back roads, because they are actually, I would say they're probably dangerous now, because they're not as traversed by traffic. Let's see here. Do I want to? No. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. I've been through the toll roads in Pennsylvania too. Yeah, in some ways, but not as bad as Mexico. Mexico's horrible. You were mentioning about 10-foot storm surge. That is heavy. That's bad storm surge. If they're getting 10-foot storm surge. I was also hearing that the average wave being generated is 35 to 40-foot waves from the storm. All right. Let's see here. Well, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and recap if anybody missed in the beginning. So, we have less to fear now from Hilary on her approach into Southern California. There was the possibility that it could pass to the west of Long Beach, or immediately near Long Beach, past west of San Diego. If that had happened, it would have been a whole new type of situation, including much larger storm surge, more rain, higher wind, more extreme wind conditions, and that's not going to happen. The storm is passing well to the east, and on top of that, it is being blocked by multiple mountain ranges that will prevent a lot of the energy from reaching the coastal areas as much as it would if they weren't there. So that's not to say that there's still a possibility that there could be massive rainfall in short periods of time. Still can have high winds for periods of time. But the chances are less, and the greatness of those, the quantity, the wind speeds and the amount of rain is a little less now than what it was before. So we're going to be keeping our eyes out for everybody else, particularly Palm Springs, the Coachella Valley, all along through the areas east of the San Jacinto mountain range. They could be in serious trouble come tomorrow, and that's not a position I would want to be in. I wouldn't want them to be in. How would the hotel fare in a massive? Oh, you on the Queen Mary? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe I should have gone down there. I don't think. Well, because it's Saturday night, so it would be a higher rate than it would be during the week. But tomorrow night, Sunday through Thursday is usually much $20, $30, $40 cheaper usually than it is on the weekends. I keep getting sidetracked. I wanted to. Oh, well, I was just continuing to recap. So I will do a live stream tomorrow. I want to try and get a report on the ship's condition, maybe near the end of the day tomorrow. So I may still do 4 o'clock. I'll make that decision either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. I really would like to get a report on the ship itself. So I'm going to see what I can do on that. And I will probably do one again on Monday, and I might do one last one on Tuesday. Tuesday might actually be either I will be on board or we'll have somebody be on board, and then we'll stream them in, so you'll be able to see the conditions of the ship live. Oh, well, January, Richard, you don't have anything to worry about. And anything that might happen, any leakage, that'll all get resolved. Yeah, no, I wouldn't worry about January. Absolutely not. Karna, thank you very much. I'm going to try and keep everybody entertained. I was wanting to do some things, and like I said, I had a whole bunch of tabs open, and I lost them all because I had to actually restart. And so we'll make it a little more entertaining tomorrow. And I don't really plan on doing this on a daily basis, but I thought while we're having this current situation go on, it's good to keep up with the information and then maybe have a little fun. Okay, Matt, the harbor cam. So I know that there is a live cam that a lot of the local television stations use for their news program. I can't find a link to it. Nowhere. I'm going to keep looking, but I have not found a direct link to access that cam. I should. I don't know why I don't. All right, guys. And it's almost an hour anyway, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully with not too bad of news. Oh, Karna, I wonder if anybody from W6RO would be there tomorrow. If you could talk to anybody there tomorrow. That would be interesting. Always a thought. All right, everybody. Stay cool, stay dry, stay safe, and we'll see you all tomorrow.